Love seems so simple until you crash into reality. You trust and then they betray you. You invest and then you turn out not to be needed. You love and then you are left alone. Electric light bulb. Why do people make the same mistakes in relationships? Electric light bulb. How to understand who really appreciates and who just uses. Electric light bulb. What wise quotes about love will change your perception of relationships forever? Police cars. Revolving light. Stoics knew love is not an emotion, but a choice. If you do not understand its laws, it will destroy you. Fire. Today you will learn the main mistakes in love that make everything. But you can avoid them. Broken heart. Quote 1. A man loves a woman as long as she loves herself. Electric light bulb. A woman who loses herself in a relationship loses everything. White heavy checkmark. A man is attracted to a woman who is confident in herself. White heavy checkmark. If a woman dissolves in love, she becomes predictable and loses value. White heavy checkmark. The Stoics knew if you don't appreciate yourself, no one will appreciate you. Police cars. Revolving light. What mistakes do women make? Crossmark. They give up their interests for the sake of a man. Crossmark. They put his desires above their own. Crossmark. They are afraid to lose him more than themselves. Fire. What to do? White heavy checkmark. Remember that love begins with self-respect. White heavy checkmark. Do not sacrifice your principles for the sake of relationships. White heavy checkmark. Remember, a man stays where there is mystery, boundaries and strength. White right pointing backhand index. The Stoics taught, if you put someone above yourself, you have already lost. Explosion symbol. Quote 2. If you are loved, you feel it. If not, you understand it. Electric light bulb. Love is not words, but concessions. White heavy checkmark. The one who loves does not make you doubt your feelings. White heavy checkmark. True love does not cause anxiety, fear or pain. White heavy checkmark. Stoics knew, if you have to guess, then there is no love. Police cars. Revolving light. What mistakes do people make? Crossmark. They justify someone else's indifference. Crossmark. They cling to toxic relationships, hoping that everything will change. Crossmark. They waste time on someone who will never make them happy. Fire. What to do? White heavy checkmark. Focus on concessions, not words. White heavy checkmark. You leave where you are not appreciated. White heavy checkmark. Remember, love does not make you suffer, love makes you stronger. White right pointing backhand index. The Stoics taught, it is better to be alone than with someone who does not appreciate you. Shield hash. Quote 3. Love either makes you stronger or destroys you. Electric light bulb. If a relationship breaks you, it's not love. White heavy checkmark. True feelings inspire and develop. White heavy checkmark. If you lose yourself, this is not love, but addiction. White heavy checkmark. The Stoics knew, it is better to be alone than in a destructive relationship. Police cars. Revolving light. What mistakes do people make? Crossmark. They stay where they are broken because they are afraid of loneliness. Crossmark. They sacrifice their dreams for the sake of preserving a love. Crossmark. They think that love is pain and suffering. Fire. What to do? White heavy checkmark. They will check, does love make you better or are you dying in it? White heavy checkmark. Do not be afraid of parting if the relationship drags down. White heavy checkmark. Remember, love is a union of two strong people, not a game of sacrifice and tyrant. White right pointing backhand index. The Stoics taught, love is not pain. It is strength. Fire. Quote 4. The more you run for love, the farther it far from you. Electric light bulb. Love comes to those who do not make it the goal of life. White heavy checkmark. The most attractive people are those who live their own lives. White heavy checkmark. The more you need love, the less chance you have of getting it. White heavy checkmark. The Stoics knew, people want to be with someone who does not depend on them. Police cars. Revolving light. What mistakes do people make? Crossmark. Try to earn love, not just be yourself. Crossmark. They sacrifice their principles to keep a partner. Crossmark. They think that life loses its meaning without relationships. Fire. What to do? White heavy checkmark. Stop looking, start living. White heavy checkmark. Be a person who is interesting on his own and not only in a couple. White heavy checkmark. Remember, when you are happy by yourself, love comes by itself. White right pointing backhand index. Stoics taught, don't look for love, look for yourself. You already know 4 key truths about love and relationships. White heavy checkmark. A man loves a woman as long as she loves herself. White heavy checkmark. If you are loved, you feel it. If not, you understand it. Love either makes you stronger or destroys you. White heavy checkmark. The more you run after love, the farther it is from you. Electric light bulb. But why do people make these mistakes again and again? White right pointing backhand index. How does Stoicism help build healthy relationships? White right pointing backhand index. What final quotes will change your view of love? White right pointing backhand index. What to do if you have already made these mistakes? Fire. Now you will learn the last truths that will help you be stronger in love and life. Gemstone quote 5. Do not love someone who is not ready to love you back. Electric light bulb. Love is not a sacrifice, but an exchange. White heavy checkmark. Relationships should be built on balance, not on one-sided returns. White heavy checkmark. Someone who appreciates you will not force you to prove your love. White heavy checkmark. The Stoics knew, if someone doesn't choose you, you don't need to wait and hope. Police cars. Revolving light. What mistakes do people make? Crossmark. They invest in relationships where they are not valued. Crossmark. Hold on to someone who is indifferent to them. Crossmark. They waste their energy, love and time on someone who will never reciprocate. Fire. What to do? White heavy checkmark. Let go of someone who is not ready to be with you. White heavy checkmark. Invest only in those who invest in the answer. White heavy checkmark. Remember, people are attracted to those who are not afraid to lose them. White right pointing backhand index. Stoics taught, do not waste love on someone who is not ready to accept it. Crossed swords. Quote 6. A man who betrayed once will betray again. Electric light bulb. Forgiveness is strength, but naivety is weakness. White heavy checkmark. Love does not tolerate betrayal. White heavy checkmark. If a person once chose to destroy trust, he will do it again. White heavy checkmark. The Stoics knew, it is better to accept the bitter truth than to live in a sweet lie. Police cars. Revolving light. What mistakes do people make? Crossmark. They believe that a person changes after betrayal. Crossmark. They turn a blind eye to lies and manipulation. Crossmark. They are afraid to leave, even when they are devalued. Fire. What to do? White heavy checkmark. If trust is destroyed, do not build illusions, leave. White heavy checkmark. Don't give second chances to those who don't deserve them. White heavy checkmark. Remember, betrayal is a conscious choice, not a mistake. White right pointing backhand index. The Stoics taught, whoever stabs himself in the back once, will do it again. Fire. Quote 7. Do not make people the meaning of your life, they may leave. Electric light bulb. Love is a part of life, but not its whole meaning. White heavy checkmark. If you make a person the center of your world, you become dependent. White heavy checkmark. People change, leave, betray. If you are tied, you are broken. White heavy checkmark. Stoics knew, true support must be inside, not outside. Police cars. Revolving light. What mistakes do people make? Crossmark. They lose themselves in relationships, completely dissolving into their partner. Crossmark. They think that without a loved one, their life is meaningless. Crossmark. They become emotionally dependent and then suffer from it. Fire. What to do? White heavy checkmark. Build a life in which there is a place for love, but not dependence on it. White heavy checkmark. Remember that people come and go, and you stay with yourself. White heavy checkmark. Remember, you are a whole person, not a half. White right pointing backhand index. The Stoics taught, love is a choice, not a necessity. Stop sign. Quote 8. If you're constantly proving your worth, you're in the wrong place. Electric light bulb. If you are not appreciated, you are wasting your time. White heavy checkmark. You should be loved not for your efforts, but for your presence. White heavy checkmark. If you have to fight for someone's attention, it's not love. White heavy checkmark. The Stoics knew, value cannot be proven, it can be seen immediately. Police cars. Revolving light. What mistakes do people make? Crossmark. They try to please in order to be worthy of love. Crossmark. They tolerate coldness and indifference, hoping that the person will change. Crossmark. It has proven valuable, they continue to live in fear of losing it. Fire. What to do? White heavy checkmark. Stop trying for the sake of those who do not appreciate. White heavy checkmark. Gets out of places where you are not respected. White heavy checkmark. Remember, if you are valuable, you will not be forced to prove it. White right pointing backhand index. Stoics taught, do not waste time on those who do not see you. Fire. Final conclusion. You will become stronger in love and life. Electric light bulb. Now you know what real wisdom is in relationships. White right pointing backhand index. Don't ask to earn love, it must come by itself. White right pointing backhand index, don't hold on to someone who doesn't choose you. White right pointing backhand index, do not forgive betrayal, value yourself more than that. White right pointing backhand index, do not make people the meaning of your life, you must be self-sufficient. White right pointing backhand index, don't prove your value, be it. Fire now, you won't waste time on toxic people. Fire now, you know how to distinguish real love from a game. White right pointing backhand index, congratulations. You are not who you were yesterday. You are stronger. Rocket fire.